Hello, everybody. So this is a very different art stream. You might notice there's no comic page here. I'm going to work on a painting. I'm going to use actual paint. This is very strange and unusual. I'm using the very affordable Winsor Newton Galleria acrylic set. Comes with a standard array of colors. It did not come with black, so I had to buy black separately, even though I know you don't normally, it's a thing, you don't normally use black in paintings, but you know. Okay, so I've got my little 6-inch canvas there. I don't paint very often. I'm not super great at it. I'm just gonna get that out of the way right now. I'm gonna mix some colors with my palette knife. But this is a very special painting. We'll see how far I get in an hour too, because I'm only going to go for the usual hour, but I don't know. I don't know how far that'll get me, because yeah, I'm just not, it's not like my, it's not really my wheelhouse. Ooh, that brush is crunchy. Might need to clean that. It's not my usual wheelhouse, so I'm not going to work quite as rapidly as I would like on my comic pages where I actually know what I'm doing, because I kind of don't. This is a pretty like pink color, which is Permanent Rose, is the pretty pink color that I'm mixing now with my blue. On my cheapo plastic easel to make a nice purple color. That blue is ultramarine, naturally. Oh, look at how pretty and purple that is. I'm just going to mix colors and not actually paint, because actually painting is intimidating. Not really. I'm gonna paint. I'm getting there. I had to mix colors first. Now I have a really lovely like reddish orange and a really lovely purple. The camera is not picking that color up correctly. I assure you it is very purple. It is not as blue as it looks, but cameras are very bad about overemphasizing the blue. That's a thing they do. So I'm kind of just gonna throw down this background and get a base color on here. And since these are acrylics, I have to work pretty quickly because acrylics dry very, very fast, which is nice if you're trying to get a painting done in a timely fashion. But the very little bit of painting that I ever actually learned how to do, I actually learned in oils, which that was the medium I learned how to paint in. And in oils, you have all the time in the dang world to do anything, because they take days and sometimes weeks to fully dry. So I got kind of spoiled with having an excessive amount of time to fuss with things, which you do not have when you are painting in acrylics. You do not have time to futz around. Not the tiniest bit. If you haven't actually watched anyone other than like Bob Ross paint before, which I am definitely not Bob Ross, painting tends to look like absolute garbage until at some point it doesn't anymore. Rinse that off a little bit and then blend this all together, because I don't have very many. I don't have very many brushes either, because I don't do this very often. So we're gonna kind of blend that together so it's not so gross looking. I feel like that outer edge might need a little extra to make it not look so gross. Keep pulling that lighter color out. some more of that reddish orange in the middle there. Don't really want the edge to be purple. I kind of like it being this kind of mauve-y color. Is kind of what I ended up with here. Oh, it's scooted out of frame. Get back down there, you. It's a pretty splorch of color, is what we're going to call that shape. Man, the camera is utterly wild. It does not look at all like that in front of me. Those colors do not look anything like what I'm looking at. So I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. I guess we'll find out. Even some of this out a little bit. Kind of make a little more. Man, I'm getting wicked glare off that lamp. I don't know if I can. That's way too dark and looks goofy. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. We're going to get a little bit of glare, but not as bad. Except now it's burning out my eyeballs. My setup is also not suited for this because I don't normally do this. So, good question. Hey, Amanda, why are you doing this? Why are you doing something you don't normally ever do on your art stream this evening? Why are you doing that? Because one of my absolute favorite holidays is coming tomorrow. Today is February 13th for anyone who is watching this later. Tomorrow is one of my absolute favorite holidays. And once I start in a little further on this painting, you will see that that holiday should be revealed to you. Anyone who knows me very well knows that this is one of my favorite holidays and has probably heard me screaming about it. All right, I'm going to pull up a reference image on my phone just out of frame. If you have any guesses about what I'm doing in the what this favorite holiday I'm referring to is, in the comments, go for it. Yeah, you might also notice I'm not working with any sort of drawing. I just did the background. I'm kind of letting this dry for a minute while I chatter and I'm sorry, I'm wiggling the camera. While I chatter and start preparing some more paint for the next stage and looking at my reference image for what colors I'm going to need. Oh, I'm definitely going to fudge that some. So yeah, tomorrow is one of my favorite holidays. So I am doing a special painting that is to commemorate that holiday. And then I will also be selling this painting online as a fundraiser for a related charity. So if you have any guesses, please feel free to leave a comment here on the YouTube video in the live chat stream as to what that could be. I will reveal this soon as I am working on this. I'm going to make some more pretty purple. Here, I'll scoot this over here while I mix so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that blue looks so much more intensely blue on camera. Like, it's a really dark, beautiful, actual ultramarine in person, and it's like freaking neon cobalt on camera. That's crazy. Cameras are crazy, man. All right. So do the pink. And I actually want this to be a little duller than last time, so we'll put in a little bit of that brown, which is raw umber. Because I don't necessarily want, sorry if I keep drifting off, I'm just trying to get better light for what I'm doing. I don't want it quite as vibrant as I had it last time, because I'm not going to probably be mixing it quite so much with some of the reds, so it won't get that chance to dull out on its own, and it'll just be way too purple. I don't usually work with color, but I'm not super confident with color, but I'm also not like uneducated about color. I did actually earn my art degree and had to learn all this stuff, even if it was many, many years ago at this point. So let's see. I'm going to do a pinkish reddish color. I'm going to scoot over so you can see me mixing these. Pinkish reddish color. If anybody actually knows how to paint and is watching this, you're probably like, lady, what are you doing? And that's fair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to watch this. Hopefully it's at least somewhat entertaining to watch me flounder around and be bad at this. All right, mix some of that. We're gonna mix some of that. We're getting a light yellowy color. So that's yellow ochre, cadmium yellow, which is not actually cadmium yellow anymore. Thank goodness. Cadmium yellow used to actually be made with cadmium, which is very, very toxic. That's probably not a sufficient amount of red. I'm probably going to need more of that, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, I've given my background a little bit of time to dry. It really does not take long in acrylics. It still looks a little wet in a couple spots, but for the most part, it's actually pretty dry. No, I'm not going to stick my finger in it like a dummy. I can see that some of it is a little tacky still. It's mostly dry, but I think I should be okay to start the outline of my thing. If I can pull up my reference image so I can tell what I'm doing. It's, of course, right in the glare of my lighting. I'm a disaster. I'm sorry. If I actually painted on the stream more frequently, I would maybe have this set up in a way that did not cause me to constantly be banging into things and just generally being a mess. All right, what do I want to use? I guess I'll use this one. It's not too chunky. I always use a chunkier brush than I think maybe is necessary. I actually use a pretty large brush to ink with, so I'm kind of used to it. All right, we'll do some of this down at the bottom. So nobody's made any guesses in the chat so far. If you have any guesses as to what one of my favorite holidays that's coming up tomorrow is, and what I might be working on here, how it relates, it will all become clear in a moment here. So yeah, I'm not working with any kind of drawing. I'm just kind of doing it on the fly here and hoping that my drawing skills are such that I don't completely jack this up. My reference image is also trying desperately to disappear on me. You might be starting to recognize this shape. Maybe not. Oh yeah, frickin', I think YouTube flips it too, so it looks weird. Maybe they don't, and they just flip it for me so that it looks backwards for me, but no one else. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Reference image, stop trying to disappear on me. Look at that. Look at that. Anyone have any notion what that might be? What this strange series of blobs might be? It should become slightly more clear here in a minute. I'm going to need slightly finer brushes when I get past the point of just blocking this in. But for right now, we're just kind of blocking in the shapes. Again, I'm not really a painter by like any stretch of the imagination. So I'm sorry, anybody who actually knows how to paint who's watching this and going, what are you doing? Just blocking in some shapes. Trying not to lose my reference picture that I'm looking at. Ah, do we know what it is yet? I think that's recognizable. Maybe not really. This whole, oh, that needs to change. That's wrong. Okay, that is why that doesn't look right. I'm seeing the error of my ways now. Seeing places where I didn't quite get the drawing right now that I have to go in and do this next section. That's okay. That's also, the other nice thing about acrylic is that it's really easy to paint over. That is one thing that, even though it's not my, not the medium I learned on, and a lot of times not still what I use, I do appreciate about it is the ability to go, nope, and paint back over. It's pretty good. I just painted right over that purple with this light yellowy white color, and it's gone. Gone. Can we recognize what it is yet? Do we see what it is? Now we're going to go through and do some of this. My darn reference image just went away. Get back here. What might that be? Oh, why, it's a human heart. It's a human heart. So, any guesses on what one of my favorite holidays is tomorrow? For those of you who do not know, tomorrow, February 14th, is National Organ Donation Day. So we have this truly incredible miracle of modern medical science, which is that after you die, someone else can take the body parts that you are clearly no longer, take them out and give them to someone else who can use them, who might need them, who, if they're getting them, certainly needs them to survive. So this is a pretty incredible thing, and unfortunately, not enough people do it. Not enough people sign up to do it. Not enough people tell their family members that they want to do it, and so the waiting lists for people who need organs are always super long. A lot of people die waiting to get organs, and a lot of other people are taking perfectly good organs with them to the grave, which they don't need anymore. So February 14th is National Organ Donation Day. I like to remind everybody that it is a great time, if you aren't already, to register online. There's an actual national registry where you can put your name and everything else, your date of birth, social security number, so they know it's you, so that when you die, even like it's always the best idea is always to make sure your family knows, so that they can be there and tell hospital staff or whoever else when your time comes that, yep, they wanted to be an organ donor. Please make sure that this happens. But this registry helps to make sure that that information is out there. It's just an extra way to make sure that everybody knows that that is something that you wanted, that those are your wishes, because just having it on your driver's license may not be good enough. Like if for some reason you were to die in some kind of accident where you didn't have your license or your family didn't realize that that was your wishes or whatever, it's good to have that kind of extra layer of safety to know that that is something everybody knows is a thing that you want. This brush is crap. Let me get a different one. So yeah, you should register. Definitely on your driver's license, register. Make sure you tell your family, register on the national registry so that you have all those layers of protection that people know, yes, please take my organs. I'm not using them anymore. I don't want to take them with me to the incinerator or into the ground for no one to be able to use. This brush is also crap. I must have some brush somewhere that is not crap. So, Amanda, why do you care so much about what I do with my organs after I'm dead? Well, for one, I'm just really not keen on the idea of wasting anything. And we have this incredible modern miracle, and I don't see why we would let it go to waste. Like, that just seems really silly to me. I think that if you can do something to help others, you should. And like I said, you're dead. You're not using them anymore. It's important to make this something that can help other people. If you do something with your life to help other people, or your death in this case, it's going to happen. You may as well be aware that this is a thing that you can do to get some goodness out of it. I'm trying to actually like get a little bit of detail. Oh, that's much better. Down out of the glare. I'll keep it down here. But also, I mean, yeah, that's just as a general philosophy. I'm not keen on wasting anything. I'm especially not keen on wasting life on people suffering when they don't need to. And since we have this incredible technology, the incredible ability to do this and to save so many people's lives, why would you not? But in addition to that, it's also kind of personal. There's plenty of members of my husband's family, especially, who have benefited from organ donation. At least one, his aunt actually has a liver from a donor. That's pretty incredible, and she would probably not still be alive if it weren't for the fact that she was able to get that. But more close than that, even, my niece has cystic fibrosis, which if you know me at all, you've probably heard me talk about, because I've done a few different fundraisers. I do a fundraiser every year for that. And people with CF very frequently need lung transplants because their lungs just sustain so much damage from their condition. Yeah, that's a nice looking aorta right there. The rest of it's still just a bunch of lumps, but that's a nice looking aorta. All right, if we can get the rest of this to look half as good as that aorta, I'll be pleased. I think that's the aorta. I might be wrong. It's been a long time since I took anatomy. Yeah, so as good as a lot of other treatment options are constantly getting, needing organ transplants is still something that's very common for people with cystic fibrosis. So it's entirely possible that at some point in her life, my niece might end up needing a new set of lungs. And it's, if nobody is out there willing to give those organs away after their death, then that won't happen. And a lot of people, especially like people with CF, a lot of them die waiting for transplants. which is really sad and unfortunate. So after I finish this cute little heart, then tomorrow I'll be putting it online and selling it off as a fundraiser. That money I will send to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So while it's not directly to any sort of organ donation thing, those are normally like governmental agencies that run the organ donation registries. Well, it won't be going directly to something like that. It'll be going to people who are almost definitely going to benefit from this same sort of thing. So that's generally my charity of choice for pretty much anything, is the CF Foundation. So they do a lot to promote research into treatments to help extend the lives of people with CF and give them a better quality of life. But there's lots of different reasons that people could need organ donation, and that's just one of many. Oh, it's another nice little artery or vein or whatever it is coming along there. It's getting there. It's almost like I kind of sort of know what I'm doing, kind of, sort of. So yeah, so I will be, once this is done, which will happen at some point tonight, if not on this stream, then shortly thereafter, because it's a pretty small and very simple little painting. I'll be auctioning it off or selling it off. I haven't decided exactly how I want to do it, if I want to try to do it like an auction or not, but maybe I will. We'll see how people feel about it. And the proceeds will go to the CF Foundation, by which I mean literally all of the money. Whatever anybody pays for it, I will donate that in full to the CFF and ship it to you at my expenses. The art supplies are at my expense as well. So, because, whatever, I donate my own money to CFF all the time. I'm perfectly willing to donate a couple dollars in postage and some artwork. And like an hour of my time making a fool of myself on YouTube, because I'm not actually any good at this. I mean, it's not coming out terrible. It's just I'm not confident in this sort of thing, so it's stressful. There's also only like 3 colors going on here. I've got all of 3 colors happening, and I keep wiggling the camera. I'm sorry. It's because I'm leaning up against the table, and the arm that holds the camera is kind of floppy. All right, we'll do this other little. I'm actually using one of my old inking brushes. This is the Grumbacher. This is an old Grumbacher inking brush, like an actual red sable brush, but I guess just because that's what I'm so used to for doing these little details, that's what's working for me. Even though they're watercolor brushes technically, so this is kind of gooey work for them, but the reason why it's in this part of my art supply stash anyway is because it was no longer useful for inking anyway. It was no longer holding a point well enough to work for ink or any other really liquidy medium, so got conscripted into gooier medium. Get back here. I'm trying to look at that reference. Stop making it go away. But yeah, so if you like this and you're interested, you can try to buy it tomorrow when I put it online. I'll have it on my Facebook, most likely. I'll probably post about it. I'll probably post a link to wherever I do it. I'll post a link on Twitter and Instagram. And my Twitter is at Age of Night. My Instagram is at AmandaCallArt. If you need to find me, that's how you find me. That ended up not doing what I wanted it to do. Let's try that again. Let's darken that up a little bit. And a little more of that purple back in there. So even when I do like color work for like any of my freelance work, even when I do work in color, it's usually in my weird amalgamation of watercolor, water-soluble ink, and water-soluble ink pencils and colored pencil. I don't usually just paint. I think I can probably count on one hand the number of just painting jobs I've had in the last literally my entire career. Partially because, I mean, it's not my thing, so I don't advertise myself as being a painter. It's not a thing I tell people. I enjoy doing it every once in a while. It's fun. It's a fun change of pace to be doing this, I must say. Look, I want that little purple line to go away. There. Like you were necessary at one point, but we have passed that point. You're no longer necessary. Now you're just making me mad. I am gonna get paint on my drawn sleeve. It's gonna happen. Now that yellow is like way too much. Let's see if we can tone that down a little bit. That's better. That's better. It looks still way too much on the camera, but it looks a lot better in person now. Again, cameras are dumb. This doesn't look like, it looks so flat and blown out on on the camera. I promise you it looks much nicer in person. I'll get a nice shot of it to put online for when I sell this tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be sure to post all over the place obnoxiously tomorrow when I sell this, so that I can get as many people as possible involved in this fundraiser. And oh wow, it's only 8:30. Man, I'm making good time on this itsy bitsy painting. So yeah, so if you want to get this for yourself or buy it for a friend who has similar grotesque sense of humor and aesthetics, or as a gift for some other holiday that might be happening. I don't know. Is there another holiday happening tomorrow? I don't think so. Oh, look at that with its little vein coming out the back there. So cute. It's starting to actually look like a real organ instead of just blobs of paint. At least that top part is. All right, we need some more of this action. I might need some more actual like white in here too, because this part is actually white. This is like a different part of the tissue. It's not the same red as everything else. It's actually a white color, so we might need to change this up a little bit. Ooh, my yellow ochre got wicked crusty on there. Need a little bit more. So we'll do just a little bit of that. So I mix up just a little more of a slightly different color over here, so I can have some darks that aren't the same as the darks I already have. Just so that this lighter tissue, if anybody actually knows anything about anatomy, by all means, please explain to me what it is I'm looking at here. So the darker part of this tissue can actually look like this tissue instead of looking like just a highlight on the red, because I've been using that same yellow as a highlight on the red. So I just want that to be differentiated a little bit. Put a little white. Why are you so crusty? All right, still got some like veins of pinkiness going through it. I'm not 100% satisfied with that yet, but we're going to leave that be for now. I'll come back around to it. I'll loop back around to it. Maybe something will come to me as to how I want to handle that. All right. So back on the red part, which I am feeling a little more confident about. This is like part of this coming down still. This kind of comes down here. And I need to mix more of this red because that is gotten awful crusty. When I finish this spot, I will mix more of that red. Blend that a little bit. Give it a little bit of a highlight. Reference image, come back. Where do I put this highlight? Here-ishly. And that very striated cardiac muscle. All right, I need to mix some more of that red, so I need more of my lovely permanent rose, which is a pretty pink color. And some more cadmium red, which again, thankfully, does not contain real cadmium. So I do not have to worry about getting heavy metal poisoning. Mix up a good amount of that because I'm gonna need plenty of it. Don't think I mixed enough the first time. Okay, that's better. Oh God, really? Yeah, I'm a disaster. I've gotten paint all over myself. Okay. I have like this one tiny little section here I'm satisfied with. All this big lump, not anywhere near done yet. This little section, looking good. All of this big lump, not so good. We'll get there. Like I said, painting doesn't look like anything, and then all of a sudden, oh wow, it's the thing you wanted. That's just kind of how it goes. All right, we're gonna mix some more of this up over here. I need some more white too, because my white has also gotten quite crusty. Because I think this needs to be, sorry, my brush is in my mouth, which is why I'm talking funny, because I didn't want to shut it down and make a mess. It's got paint on it. I lost my train of thought. Lost my train of thought entirely. I don't know. I'm trying to work on this weird white tissue area, but I need it to be a little darker on the edge here. It's like a pretty hard line. What is this? What is happening here? Gross. What the heck was that? Pretty harsh line up here dividing this. Another little section over here. else do we need a little bit darker? We need a little bit darker under here, following the form of where it connects to that big vein there. I'm hoping I can pull this part out. It's like, it's not terrible right now, but it's not working the way I want it to. Whoops. Drunken camera time. There we go. That's better. All right. It's kind of yellowy color through here. We're getting there. We're getting there. I need some more of that actual white. I need to mix in more white. I already used the white I put on there. I need more. I need more. Again, it does not look anywhere near as white as it does on camera in person. The camera is lying to you. It is not that white. I am, however, not going to use straight white because that would look wicked goofy. So I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow into the white. Hopefully you can see me mixing that, sort of, kind of. Put a little bit of the yellow into the white to make a very, very light yellow. And pull my reference back up. Okay, so we've got some of that really bright white over here, some of it over here. That shadow did not want to cooperate and play nice one freaking bit. Thanks for that, dude. I always start painting being very orderly with these little nice neat piles of paint, and then at some point I just get to this point that I'm kind of reaching now where it just kind of devolves into chaos and I'm just haphazardly mixing things on my palette, being like, this is what's happening now, because I'm not a real painter. I'm just gonna keep saying that until someone believes me. Okie dokie. Well, that white section, except for the parts where there's like a lot of little like red surface veins that go all over it and like bits of connective tissue. I think that's mostly actually what that is connective tissue. But there's lots of little bits of that still need to like cross over it. But it's very, very wet right now. So right now I'm going to let it dry for a little bit. I'm going to finish up this big lump down here and this little lump in the corner that I haven't given much attention. Then I'll go back and I'll put those little red veinies over there. That's what we're going to do. So let's see. Now we just need to get the form right on these last, whoops, that's a big old glob. On these last little bits. Make sure it comes out looking like what I want it to. Being actually shaped like a heart. Got kind of a dimple right there. Whoops, that's a big glob of paint, Amanda. What are you doing? Getting carried away is the answer. Getting carried away. Now we need to blend. Blend all this lovely cardiac muscle together. Boop, boop, boop. That's a big glob I don't want there because that's going to just overpower everything I'm trying to do. Aw, looks so much nicer already. I do, however, still need to get highlights on there because what's going on up in this corner? I don't think that corner looks terrible as is, but I think I just want to give it a little bit of attention. Just kind of clean up that line here, clean up this line here, give it just a little bit of love instead of it feeling abandoned. That's better. Just short it up a little bit. Okie dokie. Highlights on the nice, strong cardiac muscle section, and then we can put those little red lines in. Well, that doesn't look half bad. Those are a little harsh. We're going to tone those down just a tiny bit. That's better. Okay. Alrighty. It's a little, I'm not going to lie, it is a little grotesque. I admit that I have something of a grotesque sense of aesthetics at times. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll probably put a content warning on the opener for this so that people casually browsing through YouTube aren't just like, what the heck? Change the title so it's like Anatomical Heart. Please don't look if you're squeamish. All right, so now all that's dry, so we're going to do some of these little surface veins. Which I think will really help to make this these big open white areas look a little more natural. because they've got all these little red lines that go through them. And even if you're not super familiar with what a heart is supposed to look like, it just doesn't look right until you see the little lines on it. And then you're like, oh yeah, that looks right. That's helping immensely, I really think. I really think that's helping to sell what's going on here. Maybe I'm delusional. I'm sure there are some people who are much better painters than me who are looking at this like, what is this travesty? But that's fine. That's okay. They can go paint their own little heart and raise money for people with devastating genetic diseases who are going to need organ transplants, because one more time, we're in the less than the last 10 minutes. So I will remind you one more time, I am doing this painting as a awareness piece and for tomorrow, February 14th, which is one of my favorite holidays because it is National Organ Donation Day. And if you are not registered to become an organ donor, you should. If you're dead, you're not using them, and someone else could. I will be auctioning this piece off tomorrow, February 14th, 2020. Check out my Twitter at Age of Night, my Instagram at AmandaCallArt, where I will be facilitating that. I'm not sure exactly the procedure I'm going to use for that, but if you follow either of those platforms, you will be able to find out what is going on. I will be sure to let everybody know. Oh, that came out so nice. I pulled it out in the end. This is what I'm talking about. Painting, it just looks like a pile of garbage, and then you're done and you're like, oh wow, it's the thing I wanted it to be. I wasn't expecting that at all. If you like this video, like it. If you like listening to me prattle while I work on art, subscribe and hit the bell thing so that you know when I go live like this. This is a very special instance. I don't normally paint. I'm a comic artist. I'm normally drawing and using pencil and ink. So this was a fun and rare chance. I got to do something very special tonight. So thank you all for joining me. I hope to see any number of you tomorrow. Hopefully someone will buy this and we'll raise lots of money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Because again, a lot of people with CF end up needing organ transplants at some point in their life. So that is my personal go-to charity, but also just as a bit of awareness for National Organ Donation Day. Go out and get registered to become an organ donor. And thank you all so much for joining me while I stumbled my way through this painting that I think came out pretty good. And I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.